Good afternoon, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Five Fact Friday with me, Charlie Landon. This is Moving Home with Charlie. I am, forgive me, slightly fluffy in the head this morning. I went to a very good gig last night at the Rolling Stones. Absolutely incredible. And I'm feeling slightly rough around the edges this morning, so forgive me. I hope you've all had a good week. What an exciting week, in a way. Also not. With the election. Let's get into it, shall we? So for those of you who are new, and welcome. By the way, so many new followers from the video that I filmed a couple of years ago of my colleague Sam selling her house in Taunton. The estate agent secretly filmed video. So welcome to all of those new followers, many of you this week. So this Five Fact Friday is where I go through the five, it's actually six today, the five most recently reported facts, verifiable facts from the media in the last 7 days that I think have the biggest impact on the housing market. I'm not at home, I'm elsewhere, I'm on the road at the moment, so forgive me if there's any background noise. There may well be, like barking dogs and stuff. But without further ado, let's start with fact number one, which was this week that inflation came out. And weirdly enough, I don't know if it's weird or not, but some people think this is the reason that Rishi Sunak called the election this week. I think that actually it was disappointing and therefore actually is going to undermine his chances. I think he's undermined his own chances, but let's just start with what the actual inflation figures were. So the main CPIH, that's not the one they report, it's this one. The CPI rose by 2.3% in the 12 months. Now, that was slightly higher than a lot of analysts were hoping for. And not so much because of that figure, but because of the OOH, the owner occupiers housing costs continuing to rise, which is up to 6.6%. The general consensus was that this inflation readout is bad news for those hoping for a rate cut. Okay, now just very quickly, let's just go down to the graph because that's the most useful part on this, actually. So it's that black line that they're really worrying about, the one down here that keeps creeping up and up and up and up and up and up and still going up. Anyway, as I'll come on later, there is plenty of discussion about the fact that for whatever reason, despite the fact that the headline inflation is now getting close to its 2% target, there is still little or no hope of a rate cut anytime soon. So that's the inflation news from this week. That's fact number one. Fact number two, the ONS put out their monthly house price index this week. And weirdly, they're putting rent first. We'll come on to rent in a minute because that's the next fact. But actually, it was the prices. Here we are. The last bullet point on the little thing there is that average UK house prices increased by 1.8% in the 12 months to March 2020. Provisional estimates, and this is up from last month's decrease of minus 0.2% year on year. And that was revised in the 12 months to February. Now, this is the first time that the ONS house price index has gone positive since June last year. So March to June. So 9 months by their figures. So saying, oh, well, we've reached the bottom. House prices are going back up again. And I've done countless videos on the fact about how this particular figure is calculated as the average of all 4 countries. It doesn't tell you what's happening in any of the 4 countries individually. But what I will say is that I did go and look at the country by country prices. And each one of the 4 countries, they have the UK, they have Great Britain, and they have England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. And all of them, the amount had gone up month on month from February. What does that mean? Well, that's for another video. In fact, straight after this video, at 4:30 p.m. UK time, I've got a lovely, long overdue catch up with our friend Stiggy, my friend Alex Groundwater. For those of you who are new to the channel, Alex was a regular guest on the channel, very, very popular guest. And if you're around and you're listening, you'll find out why. He and I will be discussing the fact that house prices, official house prices, appear to have gone up across the board. Okay, in the next one. But that's fact number 2. And fact number 3 is the rents. Now, average UK rents increased by 8.9% in the 12 months to March, which is down from the record high of that's April. They're a month more up to date. So April, year on year to April, rents went up 8.9%. Now, what's important here is this is only new rents. Okay, it's not the rent that exists. If you're living where you're living and your rent hasn't gone up 9%, I mean, unless your landlord decided to put it up separately. But this is newly recorded rents. 8.9% is still very high, very painful, but it's slightly down from last month's increase of 9.2%. So there is a graph on that page, and you can go find all of these sources. There's a link below to a page, a 5 Fact Friday page on my website. We've got all of these pages. But this is a graph where they've actually plotted house prices. So the pale blue line there is house prices year on year, and it's gone from minus 0.2% to up 1.8%, bottom line there. And the rent, 9%, but in April has gone down to 8.9%. So it's the rent increase appears to have peaked and started to come down. Okay. Now, I'm not expressing any of this. I have lots of opinions on all of this. But I just wanted to show you the facts as they are reported. Now, the next one, the biggest one, is probably the general election. Actually, that big news or not? Because there are people who will say it doesn't really matter because whatever the outcome of the election, nothing changes in the housing market. That's arguably true. What also typically happens, although there are people saying it's not going to happen this time, is that the housing market itself tends to slow down or go on pause, which is a disaster for anyone trying to move house now in the run-up to an election. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason other than the uncertainty surrounding an election. So a general election will take place on Thursday, the 4th of July. All right, and there's the government website talking. Will it affect the housing market? There are lots of industry commentators coming out. I've seen already. No, it's actually not going to affect it this time. Everything's fine. Everything's carrying on as usual. Because, of course, at the moment, estate agencies' pipelines of sold property, sales agreed that they're trying to get to exchange, from all the feedback that I'm getting from all the agents I talk to, is incredibly frustratingly slow and long and painful and expensive and difficult. And what none of them want is for the general election announcement to make that even worse. Now, some of them are saying mercifully, it's a fairly short notice election, and they haven't announced it now that it's going to be in November, for example, which would have been like sort of a slow, drawn out death. It's a relatively short notice election. It's certainly not going to speed things up. Let's put it that way. I mean, the best case scenario is it won't affect the pipelines and housing market activity. The worst case scenario, because slowing down transactions is bad for everyone, is that it does. I suspect it will hit it slightly, but not too badly, because I think it's already very, very bad in terms of slow transaction times. Right, we now have the next fact, is that Angela Rayner did a speech to the UK's Real Estate Investment and Infrastructure Forum. Sounds deadly. And laid out Labour's plans in full. Hang on a second. No, that's weird. I had it all on. Yeah, I've got it here. Here we are. Just going to run through the bullet points here. And it's the new towns code, which is the bit that's getting the most attention. I'll just zoom in so you can actually see that, but this is what it says. Hang on, I've now lost. There we are. We will set out a new towns code, criteria that developers must meet. An opinion on that will come on in a minute. More social and affordable homes with a gold standard aim of 40%. Now that's vague and washy already, isn't it? More with an aim of 40%. It's just wishy-washy. There's nothing. There's no commitment to delivery there. Buildings with character in streets that fit in with nearby areas. This is, if you want to see what electioneering guff language looks like, it's good. Planning fit for the future with good links to towns and cities. This is worded entirely by people who've written this speech to make it sound good to people who are listening, but there's absolutely no substance here at all. And each of these bullet points is just literally designed to answer all the concerns have about new builds. Oh, where are the doctor surgeries? Where are the schools going to be? What about access to nature parks and places for children to play? And they've just literally listed them out. Oh, we're going to do all of this. Right. I'm not going to spend any more time on that for the simple reason that at no time in the last 30 or 40 years has a UK government ever delivered on its election housing pledges. And therefore, it's a waste of time even talking about it. Now, if Labour get in and if they start delivering and actually show that they're going to start delivering things, that would change things. And I would say that it was very, very worth debating. But until then, until this or any government shows an actual ability to break the planning deadlock and make tangible differences, we are going to get more of the same, because developers are not legally bound by anything other than existing regulations, what they build. And the existing regulations have led us to where we are now. So unless they actually change the law and the regulations that affect house builders, they're saying they're going to, but I'll believe it when I see it, nothing's going to change. So this is all just more and more and more housing guff. News out today that the government has officially abandoned the rental reform bill and the Section 21. All of that is gone. Years of debating, campaigning, out the window, gone. Unless the Tories get back in, but I think we'll see a squadron of flying pigs before that happens. Now, last fact, this is fact number 6, which is important and does affect the market. Let me just get up on the screen. This was reported on Bloomberg. The pound rallies as traders increasingly see Bank of England cuts lagging the European Central Bank. So the market pushes the likely timing of first decrease to September. Now, those of you watching my channel all year will remember me saying at the beginning of the year, when everyone was going, oh, there are 4 or 5 rate cuts this year, 2024, 4 or 5 rate cuts, rates coming down, house prices up. Well, at the moment, the market's now expecting September as the earliest that there'll be any rate cuts. And since this story came out on the 22nd of May, 2 days, another story out yesterday about how the ECB is facing more inflationary pressure because of wages in Europe. So stronger than expected UK inflation tempers rate cut bets. I mean, you could almost copy and paste this every month, couldn't you? Or every other month when they do these announcements. A June rate cut is off the cards. Frankly, August will hang in the balance. Anyway, there's so much discussion about how the housing market is going to do things because there are definitely going to be rate cuts, and they just have not materialized. In the beginning of the year, I said I didn't know what was going to happen. Maybe there will be rate cuts, maybe there won't. And my estimation at the beginning of the year was that by the end of 2024, we might have one small rate cut of 0.25 percentage points, which is looking increasingly likely. Guys, that's 5 Fact Friday. Who do we have here? Do we have any questions on these topics? Because a lot of this I'm going to get into detail and I have a really good conversation with Alex Groundwater in just over half an hour if you're watching this live. And if you're watching this pre-recorded, sorry, if you're watching this later on when it's not live, then the next video in the Moving Home with Charlie videos is with Alex Groundwater. If you're watching this on Best Agent, because I do also put this 5 Fact Friday out on the Best Agent channel for agents as well, then you'll have to go to the Moving Home with Charlie channel to see that video. Now, quickly, also, if you are an estate agent watching this and you aren't subscribed to the Best Agent YouTube channel, please do so. Just look up Best Agent on YouTube and you'll find it. And if you're an agent watching this, please make sure you are aware of Best Agent Day on the 27th of June, 2024, which is the day that overvaluing, which is the scourge of all scourges of the home moving industry, the day that overvaluing is going to be ended by a movement of agents who've had enough of overvaluing. And on the 27th of June, we will be revealing, along with a load of speakers on the day, for all agents. It's an agent-only event. It's not a public event. It's a private event only for agents. It's online. You can watch from anywhere. We're going to be going in depth, in detail, into exactly how the Best Agent movement of agents can and will end overvaluing, shorten transaction times, get more instructions that they deserve. That possibility is now within reach. So 27th of June, Best Agent Day. Just Google Best Agent Day and you'll find it. Register, it's free, and make sure you turn up for that. Now, Tina Fey says, I can't believe how accurately you and Alex predicted the outlook of the economy. My LinkedIn is full of people being made redundant, recruiters citing it's never been this bad since 2008. Yeah, Tina, I'm very sorry. It's not nice to be right about this, but for a couple of years now, Alex and I have been saying this would happen. Yes, Stiggy is back. Do we have questions? Aaron Williamson saying he's seeing reductions every day in your area. What area is that? Always helpful to know. Luke Morby says, hi, Charlie. Me and the missus have been looking at buying for 18 months now. More recently, we have been outbid more and more often in Birmingham. People are really pushing affordability on 40-year terms at the moment. Yeah. See, this is one topic that I'm actually going to talk about with Alex at length, is that even though affordability is stretched, houses feel too expensive, in the end, a lot of buyers simply cough up because they have to have a home. Not because it's a good investment or anything like that, because they just need and want and have to have a home. And so they'll go to any lengths to make that happen. And that's what continues to be pushing prices higher than they realistically should be. And it's also why there's such a big standoff between buyers and sellers. But despite the fact that the ONS says house prices went up in the 12 months to March, it doesn't alter my outlook for where things are going. Although you'll be interested to hear Alex's views on this in the next video. Charles Turner says, I'm astounded by the house price lies. I used to own a removal company and know of 10 such companies in South West London. Inquiries are down 90%. Charlotte Fraser says, seeing some mad property movements locally to me. I'm a first-time buyer and just watching and waiting for what I want. If I'm going to be paying such high interest rates, the price/property needs to be right. Yeah. Yeah. Matt asks, real wages increasing for 9 months. How much longer will this continue, Charlie, and will it affect house prices either way? Great question, which Alex and I are going to go into in the next video. Yes, when real wages increase for a prolonged period of time, it does support house prices. That is happening. But there are still a lot of things unfolding in this scenario, so lots more to discuss about that. All right, guys. So just over 20 minutes from now, I'll be live again with Alex. In the meantime, have a great rest of your Friday, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.